Okay, so today we're going to start a new unit. We're starting Unit 2, which is about lines, angles, and triangles. So you should have a new unit tab. If you don't have one at home, if you don't have a printer, that's fine. Just, write Unit 2 in your notebook on the next page. Let me see what page number it is before I just say on the next page. It's on page 34 and 35. It's page 34. We're going to write Unit 2. And 35, we're going to glue in the tab. So we don't have anything but Unit 2 on 34. 35, we're going to glue in our tab. Make it hang off just a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and fill out today's numbers here. I'm actually going to go ahead and fill out the week's numbers so I don't forget, because you know how I do that. Forget to do it. I do. Okay. So now that I've got that in there, so today we're going to do 4.1, angles formed by intersecting lines. So that will be on 36 and 37. Tomorrow we're going to do transversals and parallel lines, and that'll be on 38 and 39. Okay, and then Wednesday we're going to start 4.3, but we won't finish it. At least I don't think we will, but that'll be on 40 and 41. So we may or may not finish it, but that's what we're doing this week. So go ahead and turn the page once you've got those in there. We're going to go ahead and label page 36. 36. So 36 is 4.1. Angles formed by intersecting lines. And today's stuff is not in the book, so you are either intersecting lines. You are either going to want to print the foldables off, or if you don't have a printer, you're going to want to write on pages 36 and 37, because obviously you can write this stuff without having to have a printer. You just write it down. So the first foldable we'll write on page 36, and the second one we will put on 37. Okay, so today we're talking about angles. Some of these might be a review, but they might not be. It just depends. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it is not. So you have this foldable here. I want you to go ahead and cut all the way around on the dotted line. The dotted line. Do not cut anything except for all the way around. Okay, we need to fold after we cut. Go ahead and cut it all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to fold it. My screen froze. Okay, so what else is new? It always seems to do that. Okay, so you've got it. You've cut it. It looks like this. We're going to fold it over. And then we're going to cut on the dashed lines. Or you're writing this down. Or there's no reason why you can't take just a plain piece of white paper or a piece of notebook paper and make a foldable with 4 flaps. You can do that. Just fold it in half. Okay, divide it into 4s. All right, so we're talking about 4 types of angles. We might end up with another one I don't remember today, but we're talking about types of angles. The first one we're talking about is going to be complementary angles. Okay, so complementary angles. Zoom in so you can actually see this. Complementary angles should be a review. That's a standard before. That's like a middle school, maybe even earlier standard. A complementary angle is an angle where both of them measure up to 90 degrees. So WXY is complementary to YXZ, because if you add 65 and 25, you get 90. So the definition is that it is 2 angles whose measure have a sum of 90 degrees. Here's an example. These angles are complementary. Great, they add up to 90. So to find the missing angle, you would do 90 minus 30, which is 60. So the missing angle is 60 degrees. That is a complementary angle. Okay, now supplementary angles. Okay, the definition of supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are two angles whose measure have a sum of 180 degrees. Here's an example worked out. We're going to go back and look at the top. Here's the example. These angles are supplementary, which means that the sum of these two is 180. So 180 minus 135 is 45, so the missing angle is 45 degrees. Okay, and above right here, since 120 and 60 is 180, Hij is supplementary to Jik. Okay, let's talk about another one. The next type of angle is an adjacent angle. Adjacent angles mean they are just sitting right next to each other. These were adjacent. These are adjacent. ACB right here is adjacent to ACD right here because they're sitting next to each other. There's more than one adjacent angle in this picture, so they are adjacent. Two angles that are side by side. They have a common ray and vertex. I'll show you what I mean by that. Common ray and vertex. These two angles are adjacent. Their common ray is AC. Their common vertex is C right here. They may or may not be congruent. They may or may not be supplementary. It all depends. Okay, last, let's talk about vertical angles. LMN, and OMP are vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent. Both of these are vertical angles. They are vertical. So they are two angles formed by two intersecting lines. Cannot seem to spell intersecting today. They are always congruent. That means they have the same measure. Here's an example of that. These angles are vertical, so that means X is 115 and Y is 65. To glue this in your notebook, you're going to have to glue it in sideways. So this goes on page 36. Going to go sideways. 136. Okay. Then we're going to pick up the other one that we have. Of course, if you don't have one, just grab a piece of paper, fold it in half, make something out of it. Okay, so I'm going to fold this one in half. Glue this one in a minute. Here's the front. All right, this one says, use the terms and the diagrams below to answer problems 1 through 4. Notice that more than one term can be used for some questions. I want you to pause this and take your terms and decide which is which based on what definition we just used. So pause the video, take a minute, answer 1 through 4. All right, now that you've answered 1 through 4. Number 1, 5 and 6, here and here, are something and adjacent angles. So we already know they're adjacent, but what else are they? Let's say we have a right angle here, so they add up to 90, so they're complementary angles. Now, it says we can use more than one term, or we might have to use it more than once, so we're not going to cross it out yet because we might have to use it again. Actually, we don't use them again, I'm sorry. Complementary angles, cross that out. 1 and 3. 1 and 3 are linear pair, no. Supplementary angles, no. Right angle, no. Vertical angles, yes. They are vertical angles because they are across from each other, which means they're also congruent, by the way. 1 and 2 are blank and blank. Well, they're a linear pair because they're on a line. And they are supplementary also because they are on a line, which adds up to 180 degrees. They are linear pair and supplementary angles. Last, FGK is a right angle. Okay, there we go. Now let's open it up. We're actually going to complete some work with these. Now, we're still using the diagrams from the front, okay? The measure of FGK, well, we actually just said it's a right angle. So if FGK is a right angle, the measure is 90 degrees. Okay, and we're going to be flipping back and forth for a minute, but that won't hurt us. If the measure of angle 5 is 70 degrees, and the measure of angle 6 is blank. So 5 is 70 degrees. That means what is 6? Well, 6 is 90 minus 70, which is 20. So 20 degrees. Okay? Question 7. If angle 2 is 140, then the measure of angle 1 is blank, and the measure of angle 4 is blank. So let's fill in 140. Number 2 is 140. It says, what is the measure of angle 1? Well, 1 and 2 are supplementary, so they add up to 180. So 180 minus 140 is 40 degrees. So that's the measure of angle 1. Let's just go ahead and answer that measure of angle 4 as well. Since 2 and 4 are vertical, that means they're congruent. So 4 is 140 degrees. If you ever have vertical angles like this, if you are given just one, you can always find all 4. So let's fill these in. 1 is 40 degrees. 4 is 140. Okay, use the figure below for problems 8 through 9. Okay. Number 8, find the measure of DEC. DEC is here. Okay, well, DEC is vertical to AEB, so these two right here are congruent, which means without even doing any algebra, any math, I don't have to even worry about the fact this is x, because this is 50 and this is congruent to that, so DEC is 50 degrees. I don't have to worry about even solving for x. Number 9, find AED right here. Well, guess what? Again, I'm not going to have to do any math, not any algebra. I'm going to have to do math, but no like algebra solving or anything, because AED and AEB are supplementary, which means 180 minus 50 is 130, so this one is 130 degrees. So the variables are just there to throw you off. We didn't even need them. Sometimes you don't need them. All right, let's look at problems 10 and 11, which is talking about a nickel in 2004. Okay. In 2004, several nickels were minted to commemorate the Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark's expedition into the American West. One nickel shows a pipe and a hatchet crossed to symbolize peace between the American government and Native American tribes. Name a pair of vertical angles. Now, I'm going to name all of them, but notice it says name a pair. So you pause the video and name one pair, but I'm going to name them all just so that you know whether yours is right or not, okay? So one pair is 1 and 3. That's one pair. The other is 2 and 4. So either answer is fine. It says a pair, so you only have to do one. Okay. Next, name a linear pair of angles. There are actually 4 linear pairs together. You are only naming one, so pause the video, name one, and then press play because I'm going to name all 4. So 1 and 2 are a linear pair. Here's the line. 2 and 3 are a linear pair. Here's the line. 3 and 4 are a linear pair. Here's the line. And 1 and 4 are a linear pair. Here's the line. You only have to have one of the 4. Okay, pause the video and try 12 and 13. All right, number 12. ABC and CBD form a linear pair and have equal measures. What are the measurements of each angle? You could draw a picture if you need to. Let's think about it though. A linear pair is 180 degrees. They're supplementary if it's a linear pair. And they have equal measures. Well, if they add up to 180, but they're also equal, there's only one option, and that's 90 degrees. So the measure of angle ABC is 90 degrees, and the measure of angle CBD is also 90 degrees. Okay, so you paused it, you're doing 13. KLM and MLN are complementary, 90 degrees. LM bisects KLN. Find the measures of KLM and MLN. Sometimes I need to draw a picture. I might not need to, but they're complementary, which means they're sitting inside of a right angle. Okay? KLM. KLM. MLN. This is 90 degrees. LM bisects. What does bisects mean? If you don't know that, you're not going to get this question right. Bisects means it cuts in half. These two are equal. That means if they are congruent and add up to 90, or if it is cut in half because it's bisected, they're 45 degrees. Both of them. Okay? All right. You are going to need to see what the assignment is in your book today. Fold this in half, glue it on page 37. The title is there in case you didn't get it a minute ago. And I will see you tomorrow.